We've gone from being an industrial city to a tourist town. And when I grew up, there were a lot of interesting smells on Portland Harbor. There was a sardine factory in South Portland, or there was a lot of industry along Commercial Street. Today, Portland is really a vibrant foodie town. A lot of tourists, a lot of trolleys, a lot of tour buses, a lot of whale watches. None of that was here in the 70s. You know, if you were sitting here 30, I'll say 45, 50 years ago, you'd have been hearing pounding, a large hammer making hooks and cables, and it was a pretty industrious area. I remember a bar called Friendship 3, you know, had a lot of characters in that. One night I was there, a guy drives in on a motorcycle into the bar with a girl on the back, and she flashes us. You know, that was the kind of craziness that happened in Portland, Maine back in the day, and everybody, you had to kind of a little bit watch where you were going at night, but for the most part it was a fun city, and it's even funner today with the number of restaurants, high-end restaurants, pubs. We've lost a lot of the office business in Portland, but we've gained with the Rue Institute and WEX, which has added a bunch of jobs and renovated a lot of new office space downtown. I think we've probably added 12 hotels in the last 3 or 4 years to Portland. Here we are at the Shipyard tasting room, and the complex Covetrus is here, which is a national pet drug technology company. Woodard & Curran has their offices here, one of the largest engineering firms. And we've got a hotel here at Cambria. It's really a beautiful, beautiful property. And you know, the one thing that hasn't changed is the city on the hill, the city that's on the water overlooking Casco Bay, and you know, with great heritage and history of Civil War conflicts and Underground Railroad and Revolutionary War battles that were fought off the coast of Maine. The War of 1812, some of the forts were set up for, and you know, there's a lot of history that's deep rooted within our community that was making it perfect for tourists to come and learn and see. And then the foodie side of it is the big, big change, where people will come here now just for the experience of going to the different restaurants. Today it's, you know, hotels and tasting rooms and upscale Japanese restaurants. So when we came to this area, you had the Village Cafe, which is a restaurant that had been there for over 50 years. Other than that, there was just abandoned buildings for the most part. And you had really nothing on this side of town. The Shipyard property, which was the old Crosby Laughlin factory, had been abandoned for 12 years. And then on the waterfront, it was pretty much old railroad tracks and manufacturer of boats. They had a dry dock, BIW did, so there was some remnants of what they had left behind. But so really, it was I would call it a rough area, and you would never get a tourist to come to this side. I think in Portland, Maine, we see a lot of smaller startups that start here. I was lucky enough to have a mentor, George Denny. He was a mentor of mine, and he was a great entrepreneur. I've been lucky enough to know a number of entrepreneurs in Maine. I have the Marr family, friends of mine that started a technology company focused on municipalities. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs in Maine, because in Maine you need to be creative, and there aren't necessarily a lot of employers. So a lot of people end up starting their own little businesses and evolve them bigger.